Why is it so hard to let go of someone who hurt you? You know they were wrong for you. You know the relationship was toxic. You know staying connected to them, even just in your thoughts, is keeping you stuck. And yet no matter how hard you try, your brain keeps going back. Replaying conversations. Wondering what they are doing. Missing someone who made you feel terrible. This is not weakness. This is not stupidity. This is your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do, and once you understand the psychology behind it, everything starts to make sense. By the end of this video you will understand exactly why your brain refuses to let go and what you can do to finally start freeing yourself. To understand why letting go is so hard, you first need to understand how human attachment works at a biological level. When you form a close bond with someone, romantic or otherwise, your brain does not just register them as a person you like. It registers them as a survival resource. This goes back thousands of years to when human beings lived in tribes and social connection was literally the difference between life and death. Being separated from your tribe meant danger. Being alone meant vulnerability. So your brain evolved a powerful alarm system designed to keep you connected to the people it has bonded with. That alarm system does not know the difference between a healthy relationship and a toxic one. It does not evaluate whether the person deserves your attachment. It only knows one thing: this person has been registered as important, and losing them triggers the same neurological response as a threat to your survival. This is why the end of even a deeply painful relationship can feel like grief. Because to your nervous system, that is exactly what it is. One of the most powerful reasons your brain cannot let go of someone who hurt you is chemistry. Specifically dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for desire, craving, and the anticipation of reward. In healthy relationships, dopamine is released steadily and consistently. But in toxic relationships, something very different happens. The unpredictability, the hot and cold, the good days and the terrible days, the moments of connection followed by withdrawal, creates what psychologists call a variable reward schedule. This is the same mechanism that makes gambling so addictive. When rewards are unpredictable, your brain releases more dopamine in anticipation of them, not less. Every good moment in the toxic relationship trained your brain to crave the next one. Every painful moment sent you searching desperately for the reward that might be just around the corner. And when the relationship ends, your brain does not simply switch off that craving. It keeps firing, keeps searching, keeps replaying the good moments, because those moments were associated with one of the most powerful chemical rewards your brain can produce. Trauma bonding is one of the most misunderstood psychological phenomena in human relationships, and it is one of the most powerful reasons people cannot let go of someone who hurt them. A trauma bond does not form because you are weak. It forms because of a very specific cycle: tension, then explosion or hurt, then reconciliation, then a honeymoon period of warmth and connection. This cycle, repeated over months or years, creates a bond that is actually stronger than the bonds formed in healthy relationships. Here is why. The contrast between the pain and the relief creates an intense emotional imprint. The reconciliation phase, when the person who hurt you suddenly becomes warm, loving, and remorseful, triggers a flood of relief and affection that your brain associates powerfully with that person. You are not bonded to who they actually are. You are bonded to the relief they provided after the pain they caused. And your brain, running on that bond, keeps searching for that relief long after the relationship is over, because it never learned to find it anywhere else. The human brain has a powerful need for closure, for stories to have endings, for unresolved situations to be completed. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect, the tendency to remember and fixate on unfinished tasks far more than completed ones. A relationship that ended painfully, suddenly, or without real resolution is an unfinished story. And your brain cannot file it away. It keeps returning to it, replaying conversations, imagining alternative outcomes, constructing the version of events where things made sense or where you said the right thing or where they finally understood. This is not obsession. This is your brain doing its job, trying to process and complete an experience that never reached a natural conclusion. The problem is that with toxic relationships, the closure you are searching for often cannot come from the other person. They may not be capable of giving it. They may not even understand what they did. which means your brain keeps looping, waiting for an ending that will never arrive from the outside. The only closure that actually works has to be built from within. One of the most overlooked reasons people cannot let go of someone who hurt them is that the relationship became part of their identity. When you are deeply involved with someone, especially over a long period, your sense of self becomes intertwined with theirs. You think of yourself in relation to them. Your routines, your social circle, your future plans, your daily habits, all of it was built around their presence. When that person leaves, it is not just them that disappears. A version of you disappears with them. And your brain, scrambling to maintain a coherent sense of self, keeps reaching back toward what it knew. Keeps trying to rebuild the identity that felt familiar. This is why so many people describe feeling like they do not know who they are after a painful relationship ends. It is not dramatic. It is accurate. Part of your constructed self has been dismantled, and rebuilding it takes time, intentional effort, and often a level of self-exploration that the relationship never allowed space for. When we cannot let go of someone who hurt us, we are almost never holding on to who they actually were. We are holding on to who we believed they could be, or who they were in the beginning, or who they were in their best moments. The human mind has a powerful tendency to idealize people it has bonded with, especially after loss. The painful memories soften. The good memories intensify. The red flags that seemed obvious in hindsight become invisible in the rear-view mirror. And what remains is a version of this person that probably never fully existed, a highlight reel constructed by a grieving brain trying to make sense of why it misses someone who caused so much pain. This idealization is not a flaw in your thinking. It is a natural protective mechanism. But it keeps you trapped in a version of the relationship that was never real, mourning a person who existed more in your hopes than in your actual experience. Letting go becomes possible only when you can hold both truths simultaneously. They hurt you, and you genuinely cared for them. Both things are true, and both deserve to be acknowledged. Shame plays a quietly devastating role in why people cannot let go of painful relationships, and it is almost never talked about honestly. When a relationship ends badly, especially one where you were mistreated, a very cruel internal process often begins. Instead of directing anger outward at the person who hurt you, the mind turns it inward. You start asking, why did I allow this? Why did I stay so long? Why did I not see it sooner? Why did I keep going back? These questions feel like self-awareness. They feel productive. But they are often just shame in disguise. And shame does something very specific, it keeps you mentally locked in the experience. Because the mind cannot rest with an unresolved sense of having failed yourself. It keeps returning to the wound, not to heal it, but to punish you for it. Letting go becomes almost impossible when you are still in a cycle of self-blame, because releasing the relationship would mean accepting what happened without fully understanding why you let it. And that level of self-compassion is one of the hardest things a human being can learn. You have probably been told that time heals everything. And while time is necessary, it is not sufficient on its own. Simply waiting for the feelings to fade without doing anything differently does not rewire the neural pathways that were formed in the relationship. It does not process the unresolved grief. It does not rebuild the identity that was lost. It does not reteach the nervous system what safe connection feels like. What actually creates healing is not the passage of time but what you do with that time. Processing the experience through journaling, therapy, honest conversation with trusted people, or deep self-reflection allows the brain to complete the unfinished story it keeps looping on. Building a life that feels meaningful independent of the other person gives your identity somewhere new to anchor. Creating new experiences of genuine connection with friends, family, or eventually new relationships slowly teaches your nervous system that intimacy does not have to mean pain. None of this is quick. None of it is linear. But all of it is possible. And it starts with understanding that healing is not something that happens to you while you wait. It is something you actively participate in. You have probably been told that time heals everything. And while time is necessary, it is not sufficient on its own. Simply waiting for the feelings to fade without doing anything differently does not rewire the neural pathways that were formed in the relationship. It does not process the unresolved grief. It does not rebuild the identity that was lost. It does not reteach the nervous system what safe connection feels like. What actually creates healing is not the passage of time but what you do with that time. Processing the experience through journaling, therapy, honest conversation with trusted people, or deep self-reflection allows the brain to complete the unfinished story it keeps looping on. Building a life that feels meaningful independent of the other person gives your identity somewhere new to anchor. Creating new experiences of genuine connection with friends, family, or eventually new relationships slowly teaches your nervous system that intimacy does not have to mean pain. None of this is quick. None of it is linear. But all of it is possible. And it starts with understanding that healing is not something that happens to you while you wait. It is something you actively participate in. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending it did not hurt. It does not mean you have to stop caring about someone overnight. It means gradually loosening the grip that the experience has on your present life so that it becomes part of your story without being the whole of it. The first step is allowing yourself to grieve fully and without judgment. Not just the person but everything the relationship represented, the future you imagined, the version of yourself you were in it, the hope you invested. All of it deserves to be mourned. The second step is consciously interrupting the idealization. When your mind serves you the highlight reel, deliberately bring in the full picture. Not to make yourself angry, but to remember the complete truth. The third step is redirecting the mental energy that has been going toward this person back toward yourself. Your interests, your goals, your friendships, your healing. Every time your mind reaches toward them, gently redirect it toward something that builds your own life. And the fourth step, perhaps the most important, is radical self-compassion. You did not stay because you were stupid. You did not struggle to leave because you were weak. You stayed because you were human, because you were bonded, because your brain was doing exactly what brains do. Forgiving yourself for that is not optional. It is the foundation of everything else. Your brain is not broken. It is not betraying you. It is doing exactly what millions of years of evolution designed it to do, holding on to what it bonded with, searching for closure, protecting you from the pain of loss. But you are not just your brain. You are the person who gets to decide what you do next. And healing, real, lasting healing, is available to you. Not on the other side of forgetting them. Not on the other side of understanding why they did what they did. But on the other side of choosing yourself, consistently, even when every part of you wants to reach back. If this video helped you understand yourself even a little more clearly, subscribe right now. Every single week we go this deep into the psychology behind why you think, feel, and behave the way you do. Nobody explains it like this anywhere else. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, how long did it take you to finally start letting go, and what actually helped? I read every single comment and your answer might help someone else feel less alone. And if you want to go even deeper, next week we are covering something even darker. The psychological reason why some people are completely incapable of feeling guilt. And the signs that someone in your life might be one of them. That video is coming next and you do not want to miss it. See you there.